Welcome to Devoted Golfer. My name is Woody Lashen, and my guest today is Gawvin Robertson. Gawvin is one of the partners in ACCRA Golf Shafts.
Hey,
Gawvin, thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here, Woody.
Thanks for coming. So I want to talk, before we get started on ACCRA Golf Shafts, I want to talk a little about the state of club fitting in the golf industry today.
Yeah, you know, one of the things we've seen in the last 3 to 4 years is that the industry is taking far more, or giving the club fitting industry far more respect. And certainly we see more and more club fitters actually growing rather than we look at the entire industry. We see a lot of reduction in size of the industry. It's certainly been well documented that some of the big box stores and things like that have struggled. Yet we see on a daily basis, as you know, our company only deals with club fitters, a growth in that division. In fact, you know, we've been around for 12 years, and every year we've grown anywhere from 6 to 12%, which is something that you just don't see in the general golf industry. And we only deal with club fitters, and we're seeing this growth, and it's exciting.
Well, hopefully us club fitters are making people play better golf, and therefore more people are coming to see us and realizing that I can't just walk into a store and get a set of golf clubs, or go to a guy that got a one-day class and, you know, he's the expert, because there's a lot more that goes into it than meets the eye.
Well, I think what we've seen really is sites like Golf Shaft Reviews, and certainly the public is getting a better understanding of what's happening with the industry. And in the past, I think, you know, especially golf shafts, they tend to be sort of a mystery to a lot of golfers. And it was really only the very core golfers that really understood what was going on with golf shafts, and even the head side of things. I mean, certainly the performance values of different heads. Now, with things, the opportunities that club fitters have to get brand agnostic information from technology that's available to you guys, the club fitters, is making regular golfers more aware. And so we've kind of gone from that core golfer to the discerning golfer that's now understanding what's going on. And that's making a big impact on the professional club fitter, because they truly are becoming the experts of golf products.
Right, well, years ago, we had to trust what the manufacturer said about the golf shaft.
Well, totally.
And now we have our own machines to measure, and we can say, oh, does it really work the way they say it does? Well, wait a minute, it doesn't work.
Well, yeah.
Why is that?
One of the issues we've had in the past is there's no set way of doing measurements. So whether it be shaft company A or shaft company B, or for that matter, head company A, head company B, or OEM A, B, you had to rely on their websites. And it's not that anybody's trying to fool anybody, but we all have different ways of measuring things.
That's the big thing, different ways of measuring.
And so the problem is, if we say the torque on this shaft is 3.0 and somebody else says theirs is 2.5, well, in reality, they could be the exact same. And that's something that now you guys can figure out, and you guys can understand, you guys can pass that on to the consumer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about ACCRA Golf Shafts. One of the things that I want to talk about is the putter shaft.
Yeah.
And most people, putter shaft, it's a steel shaft. Is there a shaft in my putter? They don't even realize there's a shaft in your putter. And you guys have an interesting story here with your putter shafts. And before you talk about it, I just want to tell the folks, we fit a PGA Tour player, pretty good PGA Tour player, into one of these shafts. He's still using it on tour. Actually spoke to the tour rep the other day. He's still using it. He loves it. Because he came to his instructor in Long Island, who we had put into that shaft, and it's all about feel. He was looking for a specific feel, and the only way to achieve that was by changing the shaft, and he loved what we're able to do. So I'd love to hear from you about the golf shaft.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, as a graphite shaft manufacturer and as a designer of graphite shafts, we kind of look at, you know, drivers and even the iron shafts as being exotic, and it's fun to design them because there's so much technology that goes into them. But we looked at the putter segment of the market, and we sort of said, you know, people are paying $300-400 for a really cool putter, and yet they're really not even looking at the quality of the golf shaft. And honestly, the manufacturers of these putters companies aren't putting a lot of effort into looking at, you know, what things a shaft can do. So when we first thought about creating a putter shaft, we looked at, okay, weights, and we looked at balance points and things like that. But then we started saying, you know, the feel really comes from the tip section of the shaft. And with graphite, we have so many more things we can do with that than you can with steel. Steel being a homogeneous product, I mean, basically you're stuck with what the steel does. With graphite, we can make the butt section softer. We can make a tip section softer. So we created a line of shafts, basically, that has identical frequencies across the board. They're all 128 grams. But what we did is we significantly changed the tip deflection of each one. So we looked at all the different steel shafts that are currently in the market, and we said, okay, this is the tip deflection of all those shafts. And then what we did is we created a 200 series and a 300 series, which is one's a little bit softer in the tip, one's a little bit stiffer in the tip. And then we went extreme with the 100 series and the 400 series, where we went into a very significantly stable shaft in the 400 and something with a much softer tip in the 100 series. And the cool thing is what it does, it gives different golfers a chance to really try different feel with their putter. And depending on the type of putting stroke you have, you may find that the softer tip one works better for you. You may find the one that's very stable works better for you. But everybody can give it a try and really see a significant difference.
Yeah, that's the cool thing for me is that, a golfer comes in and they don't necessarily know what they like, but when you let them try the different shafts, they're like, oh, this feels way better to me. And it feels all relative to the golfer.
Yes.
But now you have options where before they didn't realize that they were feeling what the shaft is. I think it's a really cool product.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's really taken off. We have, like you said, and you had a huge success, obviously, with a big-name tour player, which was great. But certainly at the club fitter level, we're seeing the opportunity to be able to fit a different segment of the market, rather than a guy coming in and just having their cool putter and you working on bending, the loft and the lie. Now gives a different option. And one thing we've heard from a lot of the putter manufacturers is the feel aspect. I mean, obviously, graphite dampens some of the shock and some of the vibration. So they can actually take a harder surface in the face and still have the putter feel very soft. So it's another interesting aspect of it. We had actually one putter designer come to us the other day, and he was saying that they did some dispersion testing, and ours actually tested out better than steel. So that's, again, we can play around with the torque on these. And the torque is very low, although the tip deflection is very soft. So we can add a soft feel and still have that dispersion advantage. So it's been a really exciting thing for us. It's a different segment of the market than you'd ever think a graphite shaft company would get into, but it's been very successful. It's been great.
Well, I know when you first came out with it, I'm like, what are they doing with this? But we tested it like we tested anything else, and we're like, wow, it's something really cool.
And that's, from our perspective, it's great because we know how much effort you guys put in before you add something as a new SKU to your offerings to your customers. And when we hear that you tested and you thoroughly tested something and it works, that's what we want to hear.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about your new iron shaft, because you're doing something different that you've never done before in iron shafts.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about this ICWT prototype shaft.
Well, we've been, I'll say, leaders in the professional club fitter world with our iron shafts for a number of years now. We have an I-Series and an I-Series 2, which are both designed to offer you guys the opportunity to have all different weight categories, but be able to manipulate the flex. As you guys like to be able to do, you can fit somebody perfectly, rather than just say, here's an S-flex, make it work. But one thing we were missing in our line was a constant weight version. And there's certainly players out there that are used to using, whether it be a dynamic gold or whatever shaft it might be, they're used to a constant weight feel. And what I mean by that is basically with the pitching wedge and the 3-iron are the same weight throughout, and everything else through the set.
Yeah, I think most people don't realize that a lot of times golf shafts actually get lighter as they get shorter because you're cutting more material off. You're starting with an 80-gram shaft,
yes,
and you're cutting off more and more material. The shaft's getting lighter as it's getting shorter.
Yeah, and there's benefits to that,
yes,
too.
Yes, there are benefits.
And certainly there are a lot of great shafts out there. The rifle shaft for a while, was very well known. It was a blank, and you could tip it to different lengths. But there's certainly a huge market out there, especially amongst better players, for a constant weight shaft. But we looked at it a little differently. There's a lot of constant weight graphite shafts and iron and steel shafts in the market, but we want to do something was specific to club fitters. And and everything we design, we're always thinking of what will help a club fitter. What will help a club fitter really help a consumer? Options. And so what we did with this shaft here is we added a 4-inch tip section on it that allows you the ability to be able to dial in the flex. And that's really important, that it's not just here's a 9-iron shaft, here's an 8-iron shaft, here's a 7, it's all the same flex, make it work. Maybe soft step it, which changes the frequency, a third of a flex.
Yeah, not as much as people think.
Not as much as people think. But this gives you the opportunity to really take a 85-gram regular shaft and actually tip it to an X-Flex. If you have that guy that really wants a stable, stiff product, but likes the light aspect of it, you can do that with a shaft. You can also, and so the concept is, it really allows you lots of flexibility when you're fitting somebody, and yet still use a constant weight shaft.
Right. It was a lot of work for you guys, right? Because you have to make 8-iron shafts, 7-iron shafts, 6-iron shafts.
Yeah, each shaft is independently designed, for sure.
And each weight.
And each weight, yes.
Yeah. So again, options. We've got four weight options?
Yeah, we originally designed an 85-gram R-Flex, 85-gram R-Flex, a 95-gram S-Flex, and a 105-gram X-Flex. We add the 75-gram version, which also starts as an R-Flex, but you can move up. We designed that really for a lot of some LPGA players we were working with, and they liked that weight, and so it gave us some options for the lighter weight player too. So we have 4 options are pretty cool. It gives you lots of options to be able to fit different people.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so next on the line is the new Tour Z.
Yes.
Okay, so you had a Tour Z line for a while.
We did.
You've changed some things up. You're doing some different things. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the Tour Z was the shaft that kind of really provided consumer awareness for ACCRA at that premium level. We've always had really great premium shafts that have had great success on tour, but from a consumer awareness standpoint, the Tour Z was a bit of a game changer for us, and it really was the first shaft on the market that was incredibly stable from tip to butt section, but had great feel. And certainly it jumped for us. It was a huge success. We had the #1 player in the world using it at one point in time. We've had a number of tour players using it. But now over the last 4 years, other companies have come out with a similar type product. It's become very popular, that type of shaft. So we wanted to take that profile and make it extreme, I guess is the terminology. So the new version is now called Tour Z X. Which is sort of the extreme aspect of it. And what we've done is we've actually made it more stable. With the new, pre-preg raw graphite products that are available to us now, we can use less resin than ever before, which is basically the layer between the layers of graphite that keeps it together. Glue for the layman. And now with the new technology out there, we can use less resin than ever before, so more graphite content. We also extended the Kevlar section in the tip, but we kept the feel aspect by using high modulus material, and certainly the profile we have with the thin walls. We sort of pioneered that technology, and certainly a constant taper from butt
You
right
did
to
with
tip.
almost all your shafts, the constant
We do.
taper,
We
correct?
really like that concept. It's a better flow of energy transfer, and so we do that with pretty much all of our shafts. And so this shaft here, really what we've done is we've made it even more stable than ever before. A little bit lower torque, but we're keeping that same feel that people are accustomed to with the Tour Z.
Let's talk a little about the manufacturing, because where is this shaft made?
This shaft's made in Japan,
Aha.
and certainly that's something we're very proud of, that a vast majority of our shafts are made at a boutique shaft manufacturer in Japan. And it's been from a quality standpoint, it's been great for us.
I think it's one of the things that, every shaft manufacturer talks about quality. Our shaft's the best, it's made the best.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know. How can you confirm it? We do know, however, that shafts made in Japan, in general, are much higher quality, and it costs a lot more to manufacture a shaft in Japan than it does in someplace else. And so for us, when we hear a manufacturer saying, hey, we're building these shafts in Japan, we know the quality is going to be better, and we know it's costing you a lot more to do that, and you must be wanting it because you want the better quality.
Yeah, one thing we found is that again, we have a manufacturer in Japan that's an exclusive manufacturer to us. It's a boutique manufacturing facility where they hand make shafts, and the quality control and also the access to materials is incredibly important to us. We use virtually all of our Japanese-made shafts have Toray materials in them. Toray is the leading producer of premium graphite products for the aerospace industry and also the sporting goods industry. And the great thing about using that facility is we know the quality control is going to be outstanding. And we test every product anyway. We have a S3 machine, which is gathering some publicity, I guess, over the last little bit. And it, basically totally blueprints, profiles a shaft very, very quickly at all aspects on all different planes. So we can look at the consistency factor of a shaft. We can look at all that. And we test all of our shafts anyway. But the advantage of having manufacturing in Japan is everything comes out perfect.
Yeah, so there's less problems, and
Yeah.
but you probably moved to them because you're using machine testing and saying, hey, we were trying to who can build it the best for us, close to spec.
Well, and I think also the fact that club fitters like yourself know so much more now. And you can't fool, and we've said this since day one, my business partner, Dave Macarucha, since we started ACCRA 12 years ago, we've been saying we can't fool our customers. We're not selling to people who are just going to plug it in and give it to somebody. I mean, you guys are going to go through a thorough test process of every shaft that goes out your door. And that's really important to the consumer. But from our perspective, it's very important that we know that every ACCRA shaft that goes out the door at Pete's Golf is going to be fit perfectly, and we know you guys have tested it for quality control and everything, so the customer's going to be happy. And that's what's really important to us, and that's why we decided to go down this route and specifically market our products and sell our products and work with club fitters. And we've done that since day one, and we're very proud of that.
Well, we've been happy doing business with you guys for over 10 years, because that's how you do it. And we're excited about this new shaft, but we're not going to sell it till we test it ourselves and know exactly how it works. So you're 100% correct.
And we think you're going to be happy.
Listen, Gawvin, thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Hey, thank you very much,
Good
Woody.
to see you. And thank you for watching Devoted Golfer